Okay, hello. Welcome to the final part of the series on Michel Sicard's épée lessons, highest level lessons in the world. So good, so smart, unexplained, and so that's why I'm here. And let's get started with lesson 21. Why am I not seeing all the chat? I haven't had the chat on screen this whole time. Wow, I had the wrong chat window up. Alright, well, better now. I really thought I switched that. Alright. Defending with a distance, best kind of defense because you can do whatever with your blade while you're defending with your feet. And it doesn't matter how good your opponent's blade is if you get out of the way. So this is what we talked about before. Casado is going low into the French guy's step back, trying to get a foot touch. And in theory, we said this was safe because you're able to come up afterwards and get a parry, whatever. But Casado is both late and overcommitted, and that opens the door for a counter flush. And because he's not taking a parry or doing anything with his blade, he's able to extend into a good counter flush. So that's why defense is so important. This is interesting. There's a good drill for teaching good extensions on flushes. That's such a clean flush. And notice there's no load up. It's just as soon as he finds the moment to go, he pulls his foot out as part of the moment to go. Maybe that must be Jorant there if he's showing him in the lesson too. All right, another defense variation. So there he's going low. Pizzo is coming forward trying to hit the hand. It's interesting because he looks late on the extension here. A little bit. First one he did, maybe not anymore. Thumpa, 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 thumpa. Okay, so it's defending with like a boom parry into a coupe. Pizzo's overcommitting to the hand. And there's a little bit of blade work here. It's not just defending with the feet, but it's the coupe and then through on the counter flush. Oh, he's embarrassing his own student here. To the hand. No, this is precise distance sense. Because he's actually in range of being hit. Megumi is chasing the hand too much. And the hand's very far back, and that leaves his foot wide open. I have this problem. I do this a lot. One of the things they taught me back in the beginnings of my fencing career was that you should hand out first in last. And, you know, there's variations on that now, but this is one of the reasons why you should do that. Because when your hand goes back, you can't do anything, and your opponent can just hit you. Everybody knows he messed up there. Beat. Oh, I might just miss there, actually. I don't know. Yeah, so just looking for the timing here. If the opponent beats and looks for a reaction, you don't give it to them, they're caught in the middle. Beat, big beat.
Make it more of a surprise to the world number one.
So one of the reasons you don't do big beats are just little glances off the blade to get a freeze for a moment. It's too easy to overcommit to a big beat, and your opponent can recover as fast as you, if not faster. Alright, so this is counterattack to the hand on the way back. This is a French gripper's bread and butter. Is you draw your opponent to a lunge and then you hit them on the way in, but you're back far enough that they can't hit you. They commit the body, you're uncommitted, so you can hit hand for free. But make sure you keep your feet under you and continue going backwards, because it's a little bit of a lower percentage shot and there's no reason to overcommit to it anyway. Pizzo. This is the same thing, but with your opponent beat. This is, of course, Yannick Borel. I think this one's about not overcommitting to the counter. You want to be able to go counter and do something else afterwards. Like, go back more. That one's a little bit sloppier because it's in bout, but it's still really good. Duck forward. This is the same duck we had before. It's the same touch. This is the same balance beam we had before. Where are we going with this? This is the same pool noodle we had before. God, that'd be so embarrassing to get bonked in the face with that. Can't believe Sicard is on the balance beam too. That's crazy. So this one's a little bit different
John walked straight
in that the person who scores, who's the student in the lesson, is the more active participant in starting the sequence, because it's his feint forward that draws it in, whereas the others are more what to do in response if you have distance control. Attack on prep and attack. Okay. So it looks like straight feint disengage, or even attack remise. Now we have beat attack. The difference between feint disengage and attack remise, of course, is whether you're meant to hit the first action. This looks like another destructive beat we talked about, I think, in the last episode, where you're just trying to disrupt your opponent's action instead of creating one of your own, or freezing them. Looks more like a freezing sort of one. So it's you're in strong and you beat to prevent your opponent from getting an easy parry, and then you keep going, and then any action they have to do, if they can get it out in time, is going to be bigger, because they also have to deal with the extra energy you gave them from the beat, and then you can work with that. Step beat, flesh, and look how early he hits in the flesh. So it's a beat, and he misses the beat, and then he switches into opposition 8. And notice two things here. This is the same thing we talked about before. Opposition 8 is just straight ahead, but with your tip down. And he's actually hitting high on the body here. He's hitting about here on the coach. Because it's still an 8. You're just pointed down, but you're still going high. So if you listen to the fencing coach, a one-tempo action is any action where you're only doing one thing. And a two-tempo action is any action where you're doing one thing, then another. So you would look at this and you would think this is a two-tempo action. It's beat, hit, or it's beat, disengage, hit. But it's actually not. It's two one-tempo actions. It's beat, instant decision on what to do next, and then do it. It's that break there makes it two one-tempo actions instead of a two-tempo action. And it's so crucial for modern high-level epee. That one might have been a bit too tempo, but look how he messed it up. Stabbed the coach in the crotch. This is hand shot, beat, go. Or 8 go. Beat, go. Coach goes for the beat. You just disengage 8 up position. Coach disengages the 8. You go straight. Just hit whatever target the coach tells you to. So he really gets Pavel to freeze entirely. And then Pavel stands up. Pavel Sukhov is who is on the right. Pavel stands up. Pavel is going backwards. Pavel can't do anything but a desperation counterattack. Easy touches are on. All right. 4 more. Attack and defense. What else is there? Attack. Lunge to the hand. And defense. Parry or post. Remise. Feint low, go high. Classic pizza flash lunge combination. If you can do this and stay upright, especially as a French grip, it's so dangerous. Because any real blade pressure opponent is giving you is now just a thing you can snipe against for pretty much free. You just hit where they're going, and then if it hits, great. If it doesn't hit, you keep going. You do something else. But at least now they have to respond to it. You see he's coming forward with blade pressure, and it's a 1 to the hand. It doesn't matter if he hits because he's still ready for 2 and 3. Oh, this time he got a little bit stood up. The trick here is to keep your knees bent and be ready. Keep active feet. See, he missed, but he was ready for the next one. See, misses the hand shot. Coach tries to punish, but Burrell's already back in position. And then they get a little sloppy. High low, top bottom. High, high, high. Is that low, high, parry high? Low, high, up of high. Okay. High, low. With a feint. Feint, low, high, yep. High, low, high. Feint, low, high, low. It's kind of the same idea that we had before, where your opponent has to, like I said at the beginning of this, where it's talking about how much of a threat it is. If your opponent knows they have to respond to your hand pressure, then, so this is, you set up the hand pressure by showing them you can hit it. And then they have to respond to it now. And so feint to the hand gets a reaction from much further away than you would normally get one. I guess maybe not normally that, but then a feint to the body would. I guess it's not really what I was saying before, but the it's another use of being able to hit this hand shot. That's a very modern four. That sideways four is what all the cool kids are doing nowadays. To a certain extent, right? That six is a six, and it doesn't matter if the coach, if you catch the blade or not, but you're going to be there anyway. See, it's the same action pretty much, whether or not you catch the blade, just up and forward. Oh look, a back flick with the French grip. Back flick with the French grip. That's the four. Nope, that's not the four. Okay, Remi's eyes is going past. Three, 24. Attack and defense. Take 8. Go low. Come into the twistiest forever. I think this is about failed attacks. So not overcommitting to your attack so that if it fails, you're ready to do the next kind of panic parry, but better than getting hit. I know. Your opponent's panic parry works, and now you're inflating. Good extensions will also, hitting at full extension will also keep you far enough away from your opponent to do this. If you're late on the extension or you don't fully extend, which is a common problem I have, you will be too close to get any good in-footing actions. Look, it's boom, boom. And she can do this because she keeps them at full extension distance. And that also lets her pull back to keep leverage on a parry, things like that. No breaks. What Michelle is doing here is letting the action hit sometimes. So it makes his student have to fully commit to the action. Because if it doesn't, and Sicard is not doing anything, you'll know and you'll feel really dumb about it. So there it's all about Sicard is creating chaos, which he has done in all of the lessons so far, but here he's really focused on it. Wow, that's a crazy hit. I think one of the other things Sicard is doing here is telling him he doesn't have a lot of time to go. So it's another way to create chaos is to not let him set it up. So this is a better way to create chaos in a more controlled environment, as it were, is this is coach initiated. And so the student is going on the coach's cue, which means the coach can decide much easier if the touch hits or not. Sentiment du feu, which is the feel of the blade. Change of tempo means it's time to hit when coach comes forward and goes somewhere. This is fascinating. I've never seen a lesson for this situation before. That's not true. Kind of true. I've never seen a lesson like this before, but my last coach did have us drilling into infighting situations where he would just walk forward and we'd have to keep hitting him at various angulations without moving our bodies. Like boom, 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 boom. I don't know if that came out on camera. You start like this and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn around and keep pulling your arm back, trying to hit it closer and closer and closer. That's so cool. That's a cool touch. Blocked in sideways, still gets his point on sideways. Wow, we're fighting off of a flush. That's crazy. Ah, Nikishin, I miss him. It's honestly one of the reasons the meta is so close now. It's because you can't get people to parry early like this anymore because of stuff like this. So nowadays, Nikishin will hold that parry till Park gets a bit closer. Chiesa, she's been here before. Two more left. Defense, which is a very vague topic. This is the counter fletch you had before. I love counter fletches. I have a whole video dedicated to counter fletches because it's such a fun touch. Just your opponent does something and then in response you just yeet yourself at them. It's great. So that's interesting because that's actually in prep, where the difference between in prep and not in prep is whether your opponent finishes their action or not. So if you hit them while they're still going for the foot, that's in prep, the way I'm using it. If you hit them, if they go for the foot and they miss and then you flush in response, that's just a more normal counterattack. That one's right on the borderline. It's That's a counterattacky kind of a flush. Not ready. He's a little bit too eager. That one's definitely attacking prep. Yeah, so that one's a lot better than the one before where he got hit. Genet is on his feet. He's balanced. And so he can, when the coach does something unexpected, he's prepared to go backwards. This is a really good counterattack example. Goes for the foot, misses, and then Giron gets the flush in. Now they're reusing clips. This is a flesh drill we had before. Not that that's bad. This is a really good drill. Teaching that hit of the hand at the end. He's blind. What are they doing? I wish I spoke any French. Is he just trying to hear how far away he is? What is going on here? Step back. He is loading his front foot a little bit on the step back ones. Start taking French and Duolingo. I'm so bad at languages. I'm doing Chinese. I'm gonna stick with Chinese because it sounds cool. The idea of learning Chinese, not Chinese itself. Tones are weird. And I need to learn Russian, at least enough to count. And then maybe we'll do French. That's such a clean flesh. Like, obviously Sicard has a phenomenal flesh. That's such a phenomenal flesh. This really illustrates one of the things I like to say, which is that flesh, your flesh time. Was he audio cueing when he was blindfolded? I think so. Based on the tone of voice, it sounded like he was talk, go kind of a thing. I think. Anyway, this sequence here that we're watching now illustrates one of the things I like to say about flushes and lunges and all actions, which is that you want to be fast, but the point of fast is to minimize your time between when you start the action and when you hit, which is a little bit different than what a lot of people think, which is you need to maximize your acceleration. You do want to be, all things equal, you want a faster acceleration, but minimizing that time is much more important. So that's what this drill is about. They're close, and he's just waiting for Geraint to flush. And if Geraint winds up at all or sets his legs or gets into position to go fast, that's all time that's added to this go time to hit time. And that's extra time for Sicard to react and take a parry. So it's very, very minimal fast forward. Is Sicard coaching in a foil mask and I've just noticed it? Now we're back to our original counter flush from the toe hit. Here Petra is going straight for the toe, hoping to go 1-2, but Geraint interrupts that with a flush. All right, last one. Here we go. Attack and defense. It's like 4 of these in a row that are attack, defense, or attack and defense. We had this sequence before. Romanian named German. We're talking about not overcommitting even on a full commitment with your arm first, so that if it misses, you have time to infight and remise. That's such a fun touch. Whoop. Not to be confused with the Shamley Watson, which is going the other way around your body, which works when you have freakishly long arms and enormous amounts of talent and swag. You need both the talent and the swag to hit a Shamley Watson. I'm a little bit underwhelmed for the last one if this is just more of the same infighting stuff. Not that it's not worth studying and learning from, but it's very, like I would have wanted something new to close the series off. Maybe we'll see it. Now it's just more variations on failed attack responses. He was in a saber mask earlier? Why? I didn't even notice. He's definitely in a foil mask. He's got the bib and everything. The over-the-head preem. That's really cool. My first coach taught me to do stuff like that after Flash. And then every coach after that was like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't do that. That's weird. guy's very upright. Email and ask him. He puts his email at the end of it. I am not going to email him and ask him why he's not being more entertaining. That is just, wow, bonkers rude. This guy is almost too upright. He looks really tense. I think this is the modern pentathlete guy. Yeah. This is very classic French. Miss the hand, hit the arm into prime. Sicard got 2 blades. Oh, about the masks. I mean, I could. I'll probably say, I don't know, it's just what I had there. I could send him a link to this series and be like, hey, look what I did. What do you think? And then tell me I'm wrong about everything. Which, you know, would be worth it, honestly. It's not a bad idea. I once was at a foil club. The best foil club in Pittsburgh. I don't know why it was there, but it produced a ton of A's. And there was a guy there giving lessons to 2 people at the same time with a blade in each hand. I've never seen that before or since, and I just remembered it now and how weird it sounds. But I was brand new to fencing and I thought it was normal. It was seriously, it was like one guy here, and is going like this with his blades as they took turns. I wanted to say one was left-handed, one was right-handed, so it worked out a little bit better, but I'm not sure. Prime against 4. So yeah, this is a classic thing. Prime against 6? What's this? Oh, okay. So it's 6. You knock your opponent's blade up over your head. So against a same-handed opponent, yeah, against an opposite-handed opponent. Okay. So against an opposite-handed opponent, they take 4. They're pushing your blade across your body. You switch into prime and hit. And now they're on the outside and you've got control. Against a same-handed opponent, you can do the same thing, but they take 6 and you're on the outside. You switch into prime and now they're on the outside and you hit. I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully you can imagine. I once fenced a guy whose entire game was 6, prime, and hit. And then I was left-handed and he took 6 and went into prime. And I would take 6 and go and he would go into prime, but it didn't work because we're the same hand and need to be taking 4. But this is a variation where it's the same hand. They go 6, you just take your 6 up so they go over your head, and the prime is just an infighting hit. What was that? Prime into back into 6? But why is the prime there? 1 miss. Okay, so it's prime to block, and then you a receding sort of coupe-ish action to get back control, and then back into 6 to hit. Very small prime.